Hello, welcome art fans. Today's lesson is going to be on how to make a clay mammal face. Now, you've got some choice in what it is that you're going to make, but I'm going to do a quick lesson because most of you just want to make a successful project. If you decide to make something other than a mammal, let's say you want a fish or a pig or bird, we can work on that a little bit separately, but for the most part, people just want a really great idea. So I came up with this project when I was looking at my cat's face, and I realized that the muzzle was basically two circles pushed together, and the nose of my cat is an upside down triangle, and his chin was also a circle. And then I kind of broke the eyes down into simple shapes as well. And so I experimented a little bit and I painted my cat. I was pretty happy, and I thought, well, if I change the color scheme, maybe I can turn it into a different species of cat. So I figured out how to use different colors to make a tiger. You'll be having underglaze to add your color to your project. So color is a very important part of this. And then I realized, well, I could turn it, if I could make a tiger, I could add a mane and create a lion. Or I could change the ears and completely, totally change the species of animals. Here I have a dog. I just made some floppy ears. Here I turned that same facial structure into a rabbit. So you've got plenty of choices within this one project. All you have to do is start with the muzzle and maybe kind of leave the ears to the end and then decide what kind of animal you want to turn it into. Now, obviously, monkeys and pigs and birds and fish have different facial structures. So this is just going to work for a few furry mammal faces. So when you get your clay, the first thing you need to do is to roll a slab. And you want to do this quickly. You want to stand up, press, and roll in multiple directions. And you don't want to over roll it. So after you roll a little bit, check it. If it's still a lot thicker than your thumb, keep rolling. Once you get your piece of clay about as thick as your thumb and it's nice and smooth, there you go. Check it again. Perfect. Find a lid that's at your table and you're going to cut a circle of clay. Now when you cut, you want to stay standing. You want to make sure the blade is perpendicular to the clay. If you sit down, you might undercut the circle and it's not going to look very good. So I start on the opposite side of the circle and I pull my knife around until it gets awkward. Instead of pulling the knife out, watch this trick. I'm going to rotate my mat. And then I'm going to pull it around the whole way. When I get the whole way around the circle, I just slice off to the side. And all I have to do is unwind my scrap clay. Ta-da! There we go. Now, before you start to sculpt your masterpiece, I want you to flip this circle over and find a scoring tool. It looks like this in your tool bucket. And you're going to scratch your name into the back. This is very important so that you can get your credit for your project. Okay, so put your period number on there as well. Once you do that, you're going to have little crumbs on it. Grab the elephant ear sponge, looks like this. It'll be in a water bucket on your table. And you're going to smooth these rough edges. Every time you change your clay, you want to go back into it and clean it up with the elephant ear. That just creates good craftsmanship. Okay, you don't want it to be all lumpy or scratchy or anything. You want it to look good. Okay, so once you get your circle, you're then going to take some of your scrap and you're going to create the muzzle piece. Notice these are two semicircles of clay, and the easiest way to get two muzzles is to start with a ball of clay that you're going to slice in half. Now, if you start with too big of a piece of clay and it's not going to fit, maybe you need to re-roll it. For the sake of the video, I'm not going to do that. Now, before you attach it, find the center of your circle. Find the center of your circle. You're going to line this up just like that. Okay, you're going to trace around it. And remember to score and slip. This is the most important technique that you can learn to do with your clay. If you don't do this, it might fall apart, and that'd be a real bummer. So I'm going to score, and then I'm going to slip. And I'm going to slip both the project and the piece that I'm adding to it. And you need a little bit of pressure to make sure that the slip particles slide down inside those score marks. Now it's a little squishy, a little dirty. I'm going to take time and I'm going to clean that up. Okay, so it looks something like that. If this is all the further you get in the first day, you're in great shape. I'm going to keep going for the sake of the video. The next step would be to add the nose. Some kids are really fast. You might get the nose done in the first day, so I'm just going to show you how to do that. Again, take a smaller piece of clay than what the muzzle piece is, and you're going to roll a ball, and then look how I'm holding my hand. I'm pinching the bottom of the circle, and I'm pushing it from the top. That creates a triangle. If you look at a cat or a dog, their nose is kind of a triangular shape. So I'm going to score and slip. And I'm going to put the bottom of that triangle down in between those two pieces, and I'm going to drag it back to blend. I didn't do anything to the front. I'm just dragging a piece of that top part of the clay. I'm going to press some eye sockets in. That'll make it look a little more natural. If it doesn't blend easily, you might have to use one of the wooden tools. Maybe you need to go over it with the elephant ear to clean it up as you go. Okay, so we have the nose and we have the muzzle. Now it's time to sculpt the jaw. If you want your cat face to have a closed jaw, all you need is a little ball of clay scored and slipped at the bottom. If you ever look at the Nittany Lion statue, it looks very much like this. Okay, now if you want the cat mouth to be open, take that ball of clay and press into it, kind of as a Pringle shape. You're going to cut that in half to give you a nice flat surface to score and slip. Okay, add a little slip, score it on there, boom, blend it in. You got yourself a cat face muzzle, 2 cheeks, a nose, and a chin or a jaw. Okay, now let's move on to the eyes. This is really day 2's demonstration. So after you work from the center out, we have the muzzle, we have the chin. Now we're going to create the eyes. And you want to make sure the eye is smaller than one of your cheeks. So this piece of clay is way too big. I'm going to break that in half and try again. Sometimes as an artist, you have to do things a couple of times. So I'm going to make a nice ball of clay. I'm going to cut that ball of clay in half. Anytime you have to make multiples, so 2 eyes, 2 ears, you want to make them at the same time so they look the same. If you make one perfect eyeball and then go back to the very beginning and try to make it exactly the same, no matter how good you are, it's just almost impossible. So I'm scoring both the clay and the piece I'm adding to it. I'm putting slip on both surfaces. I need a little bit of pressure to make sure it fits down in there. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. I'm going to score first, score the clay and the piece I'm adding to it. I'm adding slip to both pieces. Okay, a little bit of pressure, starting to look like eyes. Now, in your tool bucket, you're going to find that you have some marker caps, and you should have 2 sizes. You should have a smaller marker cap and a bigger one. And really, it's an artist's choice, whichever size you think is going to work. I'm going to try the bigger one. And you want to press, twist, and pull. It's not a cookie cutter. All I'm trying to do is make an indentation of a circle. Again, press, twist, and pull. That twisting will release the stickiness of the clay. Okay, so that's the iris, the colored part of the eye, and that ridge is going to make it a lot easier to paint later on. I'm also now going to add a pupil. I'm going to press, twist, and pull my scoring tool. Press, twist, pull. Okay, now if we leave our eyes like that, it's going to look kind of like a zombie. So let's add the eyelids. Eyelids are what's going to give it personality. So I'm going to roll a ball of clay, but this time, this is a new technique. Pay attention. Press it down. See how I made it flat like a cracker? Now I'm going to take that, and I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to kind of wrap it over my thumb to give a little shape, and I'm going to put it over top of the eye. Now, you might have to do this 2 or 3 times because it's the ratio or the size of clay to the amount of pressure. So if you put it straight across, a natural eye, it would go across the top of the iris. If you want him to look angry, grr, kind of a mean cat, you could tilt it down and inwards. If you want him to look sad or dopey, tilt it out. If you want him to look really kind of dumb, you could lower the lid. He doesn't look too smart. Okay, if you want him to look really goofy, make everything asymmetrical. Okay, now to get these things to stick, once you get a personality that you like, you're going to score and slip just a little bit. You don't have to go crazy. Okay, I'm gonna make this one up and this one down. I'm really gonna make them asymmetrical. Symmetrical means same on both sides. Asymmetrical means they're different on both sides. There we go. Okay, so figure out your personality, then score and slip the lids. This is day 2's lesson. Day 3's lesson is going to be ears. Now remember, if you're making a cat, you would make some sort of triangle. Works the same for a house cat, tigers, lions. If you're making a chipmunk, maybe the ears are really teeny. If you're making a dog, he's gonna have floppy dog ears. Okay, so I'm gonna make a bear because they're really quick ears. So bear ears are round, so are monkey ears, so are human ears. This works for them as well. Take a ball of clay and smush it flat, just like you did for the eyelid. And you're gonna cut it in half. You bend it over your thumb, and you're gonna score and slip. Now, if you have some other animal and need help with that, I can work with you individually. I'll be doing demos on rabbit ears. I'll do a demo on cat ears and dog ears. Bear ears are the easiest. All I did was make a semicircle that was flat, scored and slipped it, wrapped it over my thumb. Now, looks good so far. You might have to blend it. But I also have a gap in the back. All of you, I would like you to roll a little coil of clay, and I want you to fill in. All of you are going to have some sort of gap. And for good craftsmanship, you need to blend a coil. Okay, and here's how you do the coil technique. It doesn't matter if it's a dog or a cat or a bear. I just need a tiny little coil. I'm going to take that. I'm going to find a nice flat wooden tool. Half that coil gets blended into the project. Half goes up onto the ear. Really, it's almost like welding. I want to fill in that gap, and then I want to blend it. I don't want anybody to know that I put that extra little hunk of clay there. Okay? You might have to get your elephant ear to clean it up. But that coil technique is really important to keep your ears from falling off. Okay, so again, there's a gap. Dog, cat, bear, doesn't really matter. Take a little tiny coil. It doesn't have to be a lot. You're just filling the gap in with that coil, and then you're going to take a wooden tool and blend it. Once your ear is finished, if you want to add a bow or a hat or a crown or fangs or some other sort of crazy detail, how you change this project and make it your own is completely up to you. All right, so just a couple clay techniques, couple ideas. You don't have to do a bear. That was just for the sake of the demo. Easy peasy, works great. There you go. Thanks for being a great audience. Bye.